Everyone, Adam here, So Wizard Podcast. I got another interview for you today. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Mallory Bechtel. Mallory is a young actress who's kind of just getting her start, but she's already been in some really cool projects. Her latest movie, No Fear, I just posted a review for last week, so make sure you check that out. It's a really cool horror movie that pays a lot of respect to the horror genre and forges some new ground. It tells a story in a way that I had not seen before and creates its own lore, which I really liked. And this was Mallory's first kind of leading role. She really shoulders a lot of the heavy lifting in this movie and does an excellent job with it. And being that this is a horror movie and that this video here is an interview with Mallory, it's also worth mentioning that her very first film role was in the horror movie Hereditary, which, if you're a fan of horror, you must see Hereditary. Anyway, enjoy the interview. I had a really good time doing it. Hey everyone, Adam here, So Wizard Podcast. I'm sitting down with Mallory Bechtel. How you doing, Mallory?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on. This should be fun.
No problem. I'm excited.
You have a new movie coming out, No Fear, Know.
Yes.
But before we get there, I always like to ask creative people when they realized they wanted to pursue the creative arts. Like, what was your spark?
So I originally started out in musical theater, and I've been doing that since I was really itty bitty. And I always feel bad actually when I get asked this question because I've been doing it, or I was at least doing that for so long that I just can't even remember not wanting to do musical theater. But I know that when I was, I think 4, I was in some ballet class and they had us sing a Christmas song along with our ballet class. And I came home and I told my parents that the other girls were singing it wrong. I kind of dogged them. I didn't like how they were doing it. So I performed for my parents and I was really good, which is funny. It's on camera and I look back and I'm like, I don't know how they could have saw any potential in the performance I gave them, but they put me into musical theater classes. The first musical I saw that I really loved was The Tour of Wicked came to Houston, which is where I grew up when I was 5. And it's literally, that is the story. I just started doing musical theater when I was that age. I always did it. I always wanted to be on Broadway. I always wanted to do that. And then the transition into film came when I was 12-ish, which was not, I still consider myself a singer first just because I'm more confident in it. But that was a weird transition that I really hated at first. I didn't like it because it was just so different and hard. And I realized I was bad at it.
But film you're talking
about? Sorry?
You're talking about film?
Yeah, film. Yeah. When I first, because it's just so different from theater. When I first started doing it, I have to do these auditions and watch myself. I was doing it like I would do theater, and which is very performative, and you don't have a camera right on your face. So I hated it at first, and now I'm at the point where I feel a little more confident in my skills, and I've gotten to do some stuff. So I'm very much wanting to do more of film and TV now. But that's kind of the story. There's no, I feel bad that there's no spark just because I always thought that I would do it in my memory.
Yeah, it's nothing to feel bad about. Some people, they've been doing it their whole lives, and other people, it's like, oh, a year ago, I just thought it'd be fun to try. And, that's why I like asking, because it's always different.
Yeah, those stories are incredible, I think. People who start when they're older.
I think it's incredible you knew what you wanted to do when you were 4. I still don't.
It's true.
So you said you didn't like it when you first started making the transition to film. Was it your idea, or maybe your mom was like, hey, try it out?
No, it was I started getting more serious about musical theater when I was a young teen. And so I had signed with a manager and who I love and I'm still with, Heather Reynolds. She's the best. And they were sort of like, they encouraged me to start auditioning for film, and they were so patient with me which this is funny because I don't remember this either. It was very much, I grew up in Houston and it was very much always the plan. We weren't trying to, or I was never trying to become a huge star while I was, I wanted to finish high school and all that. And my mom, I don't remember this, but my mom told me that I hated it so much, that at one point I asked my mom to tell them that I didn't want to do it anymore. And so I don't remember that, and I can't believe I had the gall, which I think is a testament to how amazing they are. They were like, okay, so I think there was probably a 6 month period where I just didn't audition for film. And I just didn't like it because I didn't like watching myself. That was something that I really, and it's such a huge part of, or at least for me now, I think there's probably some people who just never like to look at themselves, but that was something I had to get used to, is doing these self tapes and watching myself. Cause that, for me, that's the only way I can get better. And so just at some point, it was a very slow transition, but it finally clicked where now I still don't like watching myself, but I can do it without like throwing a fit and
Do it kind of objectively and just do it for
yeah,
the work. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, whatever your thoughts on it were, I mean, you kind of hit it hard right out the gate. Hereditary, I think, was your first major movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a pretty incredible movie,
I
especially
know.
for your
Yeah.
first one.
I was very lucky. That was that was definitely a shocker. I was finishing up my junior year, and I have an acting coach down here who I always do auditions with, and he's the best. And I was going to visit my older sister in New York, and I got that audition while I was with my older sister, and I'm like, oh, I just want to hang out. I don't want to have to do this audition. And my older sister is so amazing. She was like, her and her boyfriend, now fiance, but boyfriend at the time, they did the self tape with me. He held the camera and she read the lines with me, and that was the first thing I ever got, was off of that self tape.
Nice. That's
It's just
awesome.
weird to me, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, that's a home run your first time up to bat. So
Yeah, yeah, which was fun. Like I had no idea how big it was going to be at the time. Um, but yeah, I'm so honored and happy that that was my first film.
for sure, yeah. How did that one come across your desk? Was it your agent?
Yeah, yeah, my agent sent it in, and I did the self tape and then just got cast off of that.
Okay.
Weirdly, yeah, it was a very it. I'm kind of like spread out in the film, but it was super short for me. I was just in Salt Lake City for, I think, 3 days. Yeah,
Yeah, I think those A24 movies are made really efficiently like that.
yeah.
That's the impression I get. I've seen a lot of them, so um, I just blanked on my next question.
You're good.
So from there, you also were on a couple of the biggest shows on TV, which is also very impressive. How did those come about?
So yeah, I did Law and Order when I was finishing up my senior year in high school. That was the same thing. What was I just got the audition in my email for Haley, was my character's name on Law and Order, and I filmed it with my acting coach down here, sent it in, and it was literally, I think, like three days later. It was a very quick turnaround. It was a Friday. I do remember that because it was like I had just gotten back at school. I finished the week, and then I just found out via phone call that I got the part. So yeah, I feel like everything that I have gotten, it's always very quick. And you go through these long audition processes where there's like all these callbacks. I've never gotten anything where I'm involved for a long time. It's always very quick. And then I just flew up on the Sunday. It was like I found out on Friday, flew up on the Sunday, and was there for a week and a half. Yeah. And then I guess my other one was FBI Most Wanted, which I was a bit older. That was a couple years later. And that one I just went in person, auditioned in New York. I was still living in New York. So I was doing that whole thing, and found out a week later.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Were you living in New York for career reasons or just your personal life?
Yeah, I moved to New York when I was cast in Dear Evan Hansen, which is a show on Broadway, which is unfortunately not running right now. But I was cast right out of high school. So I moved there to do that show, and I did it for a year. And then um, after that, I thought I kind of I wanted to try doing more film and TV. So I was living there auditioning for lots of things. And then the pandemic happened. Really, it was like I shot No Fear. I was supposed to do Bye Bye Birdie at the Kennedy Center, and then the pandemic happened. And now
Oh, wow.
it's crazy. It's feels like forever ago.
I know it's like right around a year as we're talking, and it does. It feels like it's been 5.
Yep.
So your Broadway, well, Bye Bye Birdie, was that Broadway?
No, that was going to be at the Kennedy Center.
The Kennedy Center. I'm sorry, you said that.
Yeah.
Are you keeping in touch with them? Like, is there plans as soon as you're able to jump back in?
No, there is no current plan. When we first realized we couldn't do it, it's postponed / canceled. And what's I have no idea. I would love to still do it. I love Bye Bye Birdie. And I always wanted to play the role that I was going to play, Kim McAfee. But as it stands right now, there's no. I think that theater is beginning to transition back, but I'm under the impression it's probably going to be the last thing to come back. It's going to take a while. There's no set date, so I really don't know about that. I would love if I still got to do it, but
right, yeah, I wasn't sure how they were handling anything with the theater, if they were trying to keep things together so they can hit the ground running, or it's just so many unknowns.
I'm thinking it's funny, I haven't read about this, but my mom told me that right now they're kind of experimenting with Hamilton. That's what I'm under the impression. They're slowly transitioning back with like one show a week and smaller audiences, because that's what's hard is, you need a bunch of people in the theater to keep it running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully by the end of this year, I know the dates have just been, they keep getting pushed back. So I really don't know, but just always crossing my fingers, because that is my first love, and I would love to be able to do that again.
Yeah. So currently, given the lockdown and everything, are you doing a lot of self-tapes? Or are you focusing on your music?
I am going to school now. I'm going to Columbia, which I just decided to apply once I realized that I wasn't going to be able to do anything, because when I got cast in Dear Evan Hansen, I figured that I wouldn't go to school. But I always liked school, so I'm going there now, but it's all online. So I'm home in Texas, and simultaneously I'm still, the film and TV was kind of dormant for a while, but it is coming back now. So I'm still auditioning while I'm doing that. I feel very lucky that I have something to kind of focus on and take up my time. And it's fun now. I feel like I can kind of relate with all my friends growing up. I've even though it's not the real college experience, but hopefully one day it will be.
There you go. It's a good way to make good out of a bad situation.
Yeah, for sure. I feel very lucky.
All right, we kind of touched on No Fear a couple times. I guess we should probably talk about it, seeing if your current project coming out. How did that come up for you? Same
kind of thing. I got an email for the audition. It was a live audition. I went in and I did it, and I didn't hear back for, I think, in my memory it was around 2 months. It was something like that. I had completely forgotten about it, and then I got a call from my agent, and they said that they really liked me and wanted me to do a self-tape for a callback self-tape. So I went in, I feel like the next day, into my manager's office, and we filmed these new sides that they gave me. And then I left the building, they sent it in, and about 3 hours later, I got a call that I got it.
Wow.
That one happened. Yeah.
Like you keep saying, quick turnaround.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have the music and theater background, and then you did 2 horror movies and 2 crime dramas. Were you always into horror, or is it just circumstance?
It's circumstance. I do like horror, and I feel like doing Hereditary. I got into horror a little more. I was a casual horror fan. I like watching with my friends. But yeah, it is purely coincidence. I've always said I get casted in creepy things. It's whether I'm the creepy person or not. That seems to be the recurring theme. Yeah, it is funny though.
Yeah, okay. It's an interesting transition from music to horror.
I know it feels completely opposite.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
find that a challenge, or was it exciting to do something so different?
Both. Both is the real answer. Yeah, it was. This one in particular was definitely a challenge. As far as the creepy scale goes, out of the things I've done, I feel like this is probably at the further end of creepiness, which I was very nervous to do. Is definitely something I had never done, so that was a challenge. But it was very exciting because it is something different, and I definitely feel like I'm very good at playing the kind of nice next girl next door role. So it's fun to do this kind of stuff. I feel lucky that I've gotten to this early on.
Awesome, yeah. And your character in No Fear has a pretty major role in all of the events, maybe the
Yeah,
most major role.
yeah,
Was that a lot of pressure to, you're kind of
yeah,
driving the movie for a time?
yeah. It is a little bit, and definitely because I had never had that big of a role in um, film or TV. So yeah, I definitely was a little nervous to do it, but I like we said before, it's also very exciting, and she was a fun character to play for sure.
She had a lot of good background. Like they kind
Yeah,
of built her out really smart.
yeah, yeah. I like she. It's fun to play in intelligent, kind of confident people, and she's interesting because she is she doesn't really she's not super popular. She doesn't really fit in with her peers, but she is really confident and sure of herself in this very specific niche, which for people who haven't seen the film is ghost hunting. Which for me, that was also what's fun because I totally don't exist in that realm as Mallory, and the director really had me kind of research this. I don't know if you're familiar with Lovecraft. Now it's been so long, but like these just weird creatures. She wears this Cthulhu necklace. Like she's
Mhm.
into the dark stuff, which which is very fun. I loved that about her.
That's funny because that was going to be my next question: is what kind of research did you have to do for the role? As far as I didn't put the Lovecraft connection together, even though I recognize the Cthulhu. But
Yeah,
you're talking about EMF readings and trying to find ghosts and get signs.
yeah. That was really the big one. Is like just watching these. Um, Now it's been so long, but watching these dark videos, like just kind of getting in the headspace of what this girl is into and what this girl finds interesting. So the director was sending me videos about Cthulhu, and it's so I feel so silly. Because I don't think I'm a scaredy cat, but they were kind of creeping me out. So it was interesting to see like this is what drives this girl. She loves this stuff. So yeah, that was the brunt of preparing for this role, was just kind of understanding um, her world.
Going down some weird rabbit holes.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I can't believe because I'm an absolute YouTube addict. Mallory is. So I'm like, I can't believe I've never come to this side of YouTube. I see it's weird. I've never seen this stuff.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
gonna
like I
screw
could edit.
your search algorithm all up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I did.
That's funny. Was the the whole three people needed, I'm trying to be kind of vague to not give things away, but the whole
Right.
three people needed, is that part of Lovecraft lore, did you find?
No, no,
Okay.
not that I know of. Yeah, that's what I really loved about this horror film. Also, not to give too much away, but because it is kind of a classic story. A family moving into a new house, and there's a demonic force, but the three the three special abilities. One person can see the demon, another person can hear the demon, another person can talk to the demon. Is I found very unique. Yeah, I think that's just from Jameson, and that was super fun to do and to shoot. It was an interesting thing to kind of do for us three actors, that where we can't really rely on each other for um, to feed off the fear, because we're all scared at different moments because we're experiencing different things. So that was an interesting challenge, and I think a very unique and fun part about No Fear is that element of it.
For sure. Yeah, that was something I had not seen before, which I thought was really cool. It was a very fresh take on a demonic possession, I guess it would be.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Was there anything, because I know when you shoot a movie, obviously it's segmented and you're not in the tone, you have the score, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So was it hard to get in that headspace to be that afraid?
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. Well, I think it depends on what we're doing, but I will say there's a part where there are a couple parts where I am seeing something that no one else is seeing, and that is definitely a challenge to get into, because nothing's there. It's like the camera's there and I can see it in front of me, so that is always hard to get into, but you kind of just gotta throw yourself into the deep end and go for it. But I think it did help that we were all that we were shooting in a real house as opposed to a set. Like there was kind of, I feel like we did a good job of kind of, there was a tone for certain rooms. There was, because we're shooting in certain rooms and not shooting in others, and just kind of returning to that space. I feel like we all were able to get in the mindset and not feel like we're on a set performing. Like it was easier to forget that when we're in this real house.
So the house was a practical location that you guys just used for the whole duration.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was somebody lived there. That was also what was kind of creepy about it, was we were there. It was an older couple lived there, and they had just moved out for the portion that we were filming. So you do kind of have this weird sense of intruding,
Hmm.
um, which maybe added to the performance. I don't know, but yeah, the house definitely, it felt a little creepy. I think for that reason, we're using their bathroom to get ready, and you can kind of see their stuff and you feel bad.
Right. That's so important in a horror movie, though, is the location.
Yeah.
That it was a practical location is very cool. And the house is, in a way, a character in itself. Like it was a very distinct house.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you stay in the house or did you stay nearby?
Nearby.
Okay.
I lived in my what was nice is I was very close to New York, so I think all of us were just living where we were living, and we got picked up and driven out there. I think it was like in 45 minutes away, an hour away.
Do you remember the name of the town it was shot in?
No, because I'm so bad about that.
No,
I'm
okay.
very bad with directions too, but no, it
No, all right.
was
I'm in upstate New York. That's
New
why I
Jersey.
asked.
It was in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Northern Jersey.
Yeah, yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, yeah. It was fun, and it was definitely close quarters, but it was fun because I feel like uh the cast members definitely got close. We were just in there together. It's very small all the time, and um, so I loved that aspect of it. We got to really know each other.
And that was shot 2019, you said? 2018?
2020.
Oh,
I
2020.
I had to think about that for a second, but yeah, it was right before the pandemic hit. I think it was like maybe a month before we finished
Oh,
up.
so you finished like just over a year ago.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, well, I was going to ask if you had a chance to go to any film festivals with it, but I guess you wouldn't have.
No,
That's
no,
too bad.
sadly not.
You've been doing the rounds like this, though, so you get to talk it up.
Yeah, well, this is I've only seen it once. I just had the link for a short amount of time, so it'll be fun when it actually comes out to get to watch it again. But yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's really cool. Congratulations on the movie and your career in Colombia.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell people where they can find you online? Maybe plug your music, whatever you want to.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got a little YouTube channel that's been up for a while. I'm Mallory Bechtel. You can just search my name on the internet. And yeah, and the movie is going to be out on Amazon Prime very soon.
Awesome. No Fear is the movie, and March 12th is the date that I had. That sounds right to you?
Yep.
Yeah, you'd probably know better than me, but awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on. That was a lot of fun. I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank Mallory one more time for coming on the show. Everyone make sure to check out No Fear. It's available now. That's KNOW Fear. No Fear. Also, make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. So Wizard Podcast is also available on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All of our accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. And because I always forget, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Really helps us grow our audience. You're not going to want to miss out. A lot more new movie coverage and a lot more interviews still coming. I can't keep up, and I've been having a blast doing it. On a more personal note, a good friend and I released a comic book in January of this year, Social Studies. You can find it at socialstudiescomic.com. It's kind of a slice of life or day in the life comedy comic about a group of friends navigating the perils of high school, done through the twisted prism of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on. We're really proud of everything we're doing. We've been getting some great feedback, so jump on board, check it out, socialstudiescomic.com. Thanks.